I'm David Skegss, work alongside the sales team and the pre-sales workflow role. I'd like to take this opportunity to talk about a recent project that we've had involvement with. Ultimately, it's about monetising content. That was the reason for the project in the first place. It was the content that drove the project, the value of that content. So I'm just going to take you through stages of that. So this was the original requirement, sort of 5 broad steps. So after some consultation and discussion, we broke down their requirement and what they wanted to achieve, timescales, that type of thing. So we've got digitalisation, archive, browsing and publishing with some workflow formatting, and then delivery. So if you have a look at the digitalisation element, so ultimately the production company had a huge amount of archive programming. This was historical, but also they make programming still to this day. So the system needs to be able to scale into the future for when programs get commissioned, have value and that sort of thing. So everything was in the old school brown boxes with a digibeater, and their metadata was a printed out Excel spreadsheet, handily tucked in the front of the box. And they wanted to be able to find all that content, get it into a digital format so they could see what it was and the value of that content, and then work out from that what they're going to do with that content. So that was sort of the broad overview. So we agreed that it's digibeater and Excel spreadsheet was sort of the input formats, and they selected a HD and SD format, which is AVC 100 for HD, MX50 for the SD. The archive, they wanted to be able to have an element of nearline storage and LTO, and it needed to be able to have an element of disaster recovery as well. So once that archive starts growing, then we'll be able to be sure that all that content was safe, I suppose. Browsing and publishing, one of the key parts of this was being able to find all these assets very easily with a simple user interface. And be able to add permissions to have external people looking at reviewing content or not. So this is done with Lara's proxy as well in mind. As they knew sort of broadly what the content was, but they don't know the value of it until they've actually seen the content and what they can actually do with that, they need to be able to have an element of a workflow that they didn't quite know at this day while we're putting the system in. So they need to be able to sort of look to the future and be able to add workflows and requirements as and when the requirements come. And I guess at the very bottom is it's a theme for the whole project. It needs to scale because as more content came in, it needs to grow, and it needs to have integration with third parties as well. And then the last part was the delivery. They need to be able to deliver this content to external locations as well as internal. It's quite a large production company with multiple sort of sub-production companies in it, so group of production companies. So they class that as internal, even though it could be outside the UK, etc. So that was the original sort of requirement and the discussions and sort of consultation that we were involved in. And with that group of partners and the products and manufacturers that we represent, we sort of went through the process of looking at each individual element and then putting together a solution as a joined up part. So for the digitalisation, as I said, it was digibeater in format, and we were creating MXF ultimately as the format. DVS Venice was chosen and used for this. So this one here is a two new 4-channel device. And these are just some of the points that were being used in this instance. We have a quick look at the user interface. This actually here is the Venice user interface. And along the top you can see all the different red tabs. In the 2 new box you get 4 channels, so you only have 4 tabs, but this is actually 12 channels all sort of grouped together, and you can have a group mode at the very end here where you can collectively group together 12 channels and record 12 sources. So that's used quite a lot in studios and live events. Down here on the left, you've got your file format. format within the setting here, so we're using the ABC 100, and then just sort of it's very slight here, but you've got your original sort of base metadata name. And then this is having SDI, HD SDI being fed in, 422 from the deck, and it's been captured 8 channels of audio with a time code, and that's been created in the same MXF format. So that's the digitisation side. And then into the archive, which I guess is the real sort of core of the project. So for this, front porch was selected, and you can see here we've got the MXF files coming in and the CSV. Ultimately, they're going to end up on an LTO tape. So their workflow is that those source media comes into the Diva archive, and then it gets written onto LTO storage, nearline storage. A low-res proxy gets generated for Diva Director, and then within Diva archive, there's 2 storage pools where the data gets written to 2 different sets of tapes for your redundancy in your DR. Just going through here, it's got the metadata that's all come from the CSV. So ultimately, they do want to be having to put metadata in multiple stages. So that metadata, the aim of the game was to get the metadata from the CSV all the way through the whole workflow, even to the point where you deliver that file, that source metadata, that clip name, the rights on that, when it was TX, the channels, that type of thing, all came from the CSV at the beginning. So as I mentioned, tiered storage, it manages all the additional tiered storage, does partial restore on the MXF media. If we have a quick look at the Diva Director interface. So at the very top here, you can just see here, that's the actual file, the MXF file name that's been created with Venice, that just removes the .mxf. And then this custom metadata here was a schema that was decided to be used. And this metadata has actually come from the CSV. A little bit further down this page, there's the whole AS11 DPP specification. The discussion, the choice was made to enter all that metadata now for the use in the future if any of this content needs to be used for broadcast or anything. That metadata is already there. It's easier to put it in now and not use it than add it to hundreds of assets after. So within Diva Directory as well, you get a low-res proxy in the player, and you can mark clips. You see it here from in here. Front porch is the sort of the software element, a bit of hardware that it runs on, but that ultimately is driving the tape library where the LTO tapes live. So on their main site, they've got a T950, and you see the options of where it can scale. They started off with 4 drives to start with, and only a few slots licensed, but as the content starts to go in, they can start and grow. And then as a disaster recovery, they've got a smaller T120 library. It's probably worth mentioning that one thing that Spectralogic do add on top of their tape stock is this element of media lifecycle management, where they monitor the lifecycle of the tape, and they put in software that will alert you that there's potential failure on an LTO tape, and it can do a repack to a new tape. So that gives you another element of redundancy within your archive. So the archive and the Diva Director interface is more sort of the internal media management side of things. Externally, they want to have a very clean, easy, brandable web page. So Cambridge Imaging and Imaging was chosen for this. And these are some of the highlights that were in there. So it's easy to use, and user rights as well can be integrated with Active Directory within the corporate domain. So if we have a quick look at their web page, as you can see, the name of the company is Endemol, so that's the group of companies. And here we've got their sort of sub-production companies in here. So they've got a huge amount of content that they've got historically, and the amount of programming they do at the moment. So this part here is a very nice, I think they call it an accordion. It sort of pops out as you select the different production companies, and you can set a featured content on your that month, or if it's a new program. And here you can search straight away on production company, year of TX, which channel it was transmitted on, that type of stuff. Anything in the DPP metadata as well. So once you've logged in and you search for your content, you can see here straight away the name of the program, series, episode, Again, this is all customizable with the metadata, and then this metadata here has made its way through Diva from the Excel spreadsheets. It's come all the way through. And again, you can alter this here if need be. Also, you can do is you can create sort of sub-clears. You can create a mark in and mark out and add that to a collection, actual like basket, and then you can say, right, with all those sub-clips or clips, I'd like to do X, Y, or Z with those. So as you can see, it's a very sort of clean, neat interface for you to log in. You can even get to the point that if, say, Tiger Aspect log in, they can only see their content. It's very easy to do with permissions on that sort of thing. So as mentioned, once you've got all your assets together, you may want to create a YouTube format. That's one of the reasons why the project came around, is the content was on YouTube and they want to get the revenue. So there's a Root 6 technology content agent in there, which is sort of a workflow automation product. There's a session this afternoon which will cover that in depth. But yeah, ultimately, this is sort of a Swiss Army knife. So when they say, right, I need to create a progress file or something separate, YouTube or DMX, you can set up a quick workflow and have that as a watch folder, and you can push content straight out from Diva archive or imaging into that, and it'll go off and do that, deliver it to an FTP site, or etc. So this is a quick overview of the user interface. As I said, there's going to be a session on it later. One of their elements that Endemol needed was it needs to be able to create DPP deliverables, so if they wanted to resend the program, and this is the workflow that they're currently using. Say that they're a good session covering that in depth later. The last element was delivery. So once they've got their content, they've created whatever format they need to be able to deliver it, say, to a post house if it's going to be reversioned in Avid or Adobe or whatever. They're using this to deliver their content to the YouTube channel as well. So Spira was selected for that, so they've got their own enterprise server. And again, just go back slightly, there's a third-party integration with all of these products, so they all sort of talk to each other, so it's a joined-up workflow. Ultimately, content can be delivered via Spira, land into a watch folder. Diva will pick it up, generate its proxies, move it into Cambridge Imaging, and the workflow just sort of grows. Also, again, one thing that's sort of consistent throughout the whole project was metadata. Metadata is key about finding the content, and within a Spira on upload, so if someone's uploading some content into Endemol, we've created this metadata scheme here of, at least you know what the content is arriving, rather than a new file one or something like that. And then with the overall project, there was an element of there needs to be some storage underneath to assist with drop folders and content as stuff gets reversioned, etc. So Object Matrix was chosen for that. One of the key reasons for that is I think they started over 64 terabytes. As things grow and more content comes in, it'll need to scale, and Object Matrix is very easy to scale where you can add a node into the cluster. You don't have to reformat or create a separate volume and then redo the workflow, so it'll just sort of grow underneath it. This is a quick overview of the admin interface of the cluster. They have the term vaults, which is effectively a folder, and with that folder you can apply permissions if it's replicated or dual copies, that type of thing. It tells you about the health as well. And again, if someone was, so another element of the project was their production companies. They've got a lot of camera rushes and raw media, which traditionally they've been storing on dumb storage, I suppose. Now if you put something onto the Object Matrix, as soon as you drop that file on, it'll pop up this metadata box. So you can at least put in some metadata, and then that can be fed back into the system if need be. So they were the solutions and sort of the hardware and software element that was applied to the overall requirement. The project's in and going as we speak. And lastly, if we sort of head over towards the workflows, the current and the future, so we can accept baseband video digitisation, we can accept file-based delivery, we can push that straight into the archive, and then, as we mentioned earlier, we can move that to browsing and publishing. Potentially, if they want to add in a post element, they can add a post element in here, and we can start moving the content out of the imaging site straight from the archive. We can reversion that into formatting and we can deliver that. So hopefully that's giving you a good view of how we were given a challenge, and with our manufacturers we sort of came together with an overall solution. It's probably worth pointing out multiple manufacturers. I think I can happily stand here and say if you went to one of those manufacturers, they would be able to deliver that whole solution from end to end. Much like my presentation, we started in the middle and in the end. So far so good, happy customer, really good project. And yeah, hopefully it's just a bit of personal knowledge on our project that we've done, and sort of helps along the way. So yeah, thank you very much for your time.